Hello everyone. I hope you guys are having a great day. So for today's video, we are going to be playing more Rapid as we are getting closer to 2400 and hopefully I will get there soon because I have never reached 2400 on Rapid. So hopefully this will be the first time. Okay. So we got a 2250. And starting with E4, we are going to be playing the Sicilian. Going to the Tamanov. Okay. So our opponent is trying to avoid mainline Sicilian. Basically. Um so what do we do here? Well, there are quite a few things we can do. Since our opponent is trying to play D3 and not D4, then this game is just basically equal. So I am going to be building the con system with A6. And our opponent is playing a King Sicilian attack setup, which of course is totally fine. And I think for this game, I am going to be playing towards this bishop as well. So I am going to be just playing the con variation, the con system to be able to match this bishop. And with a con system, I'm prioritizing my queen side development very much. I'm trying to just speed up our queen side instead of like the Taimanov, where I speed up my king side development and castle as quickly as possible. Okay, so we have a4 here. A4 is quite a typical move in order to try to break this b5, a6, b5 pawn structure. So now here, usually in a blitz game, I will play b4 right away, but maybe here we might want to think for a little bit. Because the knight has not been developed c3 yet. So I kind of don't want to push b4 right away, because then if I push b4 right now, then white can go knight b to d2 into knight c4, which then could be slightly annoying. So I think I am going to play knight f6 and kind of just asking white, like, okay, what are you trying to do? Because the thing is, if white plays knight c3, now we play b4. And if white tries to go back in order to do the plan, now white basically wasted two tempos going the knight to c3, back to b1. And of course, I'll be fine with that. But if white doesn't go, never goes knight c3, see? And this is what I was talking about. White going for knight b to d2. So we don't have any reason to push b4, because now the pawn on b5 is doing the job of holding on to c4. So we are going to just keep developing. And this is a very easy game for me to play. I was thinking of playing the modern defense, but in these rapid games that I'm doing, I am trying my best to improve my Sicilian gameplay. Sicilian is honestly very, very hard to play, especially for a win, because it's very double most of the time. Because it's very open and tactical, which is like not really what I want, or not just like my preference. However, it is good to learn once in a while. Okay. That's just my one of my friends trying to challenge me. I'll ignore that. Let me go get my phone really quick. I just like finished taking a shower and I haven't been doing much. Okay, let's go back and focus. Okay, we have c3 here. Okay, so c3 could go for d4 ideas. Of course. Okay. So d4 ideas ideally is not actually what I wanted. But so here we have, let's think for a little bit, right? So if we castle and we allow d4, if captures, what happens? It's a good question. I don't know. But here we just don't captures, what would happen also? Because I don't think that capturing the d4 pawn is such a good idea due to the fact that it opens up a c file, and we currently, as black in this position, I don't think opening up the file does anything much unless we have like a clear purpose on what to do. We are having a lot of protection on the c5 pawn. So I don't think I'm too worried about that. I'm going to castle. We basically I can try to stop. I could have stopped d4 with e5 probably, but I don't think there's any good reason to do that. So okay. So here now is the question. If I want to open a c file, then I don't want to put my queen on c7. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. On the other hand, the queen on b6 is actually doesn't look very good. But the thing here is that maybe if he plays a5, then that becomes good. I think I'm 7. The thing is, maybe I would want my knight on to go to b6 and then go to c4 at some point in the game. Now the questions is, where do I want to put my rooks, right? So maybe I want to put it on these two files and not the e file, because I mostly would never want to open the e file due to my bishop sitting on e7, sitting behind the pawn. Our opponent is going for e5, which is a little bit surprising, but I can see why. Because if you look, knight e4 is a very clear idea here. Okay, but now here's the thing. Even if we go knight to d5, white can't go knight e4 because we will take on this. Although there's knight takes c5, which I might want to watch out. But the thing is, since we open up the d file, is actually good for us, because now we are getting the initiative due to our queen being away from the d file already. Okay, so knight e4 is actually playable, but the knight can't go to d6 because we have a bishop on e7 doing the job here. Okay. So, yeah, queen to e2. So now, do we want to play c4? We could play c4. However, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Queen e2 also attacks his pawn, which is something I might want to note. I don't think I want to take this because his rook takes a4 and things get a little bit complicated. So I think a bishop to c6 and then see what white wants to do with this pawn. I don't know if I want to take, because maybe I want to, because if I take, then I could potentially go a3 and try to break this pawn chain. Even though it weakens our pawn chain, obviously, our pawn structure. e4, knight d6 isn't such a scary idea due to the fact that yeah, now this is a very kind of typical King's Indian attack type of stuff. I don't know if I'm happy about, right? So now again, I could take on a4, but I don't think it does much because even if I take, right, I can never go a3 because just rook takes a3. And that also frees the c4 knight, so I don't want to do that. Okay. So now the question is, do I want to put my rook on d8 or do I want to put my rook on e8? I want to put it on e8 simply because I want to add some protection on e6 potentially, because I might want to play f6 at some point. So I think, but the thing is, I put on I think actually no, it doesn't matter where I put it. If white just takes here, and now it looks a little bit weird. I think I'm gonna play rook a to e. Originally, I wanted to move the f rook because I want to play knight f8. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm realizing that, wait, I'm not doing anything on the queen side, right? So, and my plan is to go f6 and trying to break this e5 pawn here, being very annoying. And if I have this rook behind this pawn, then white can't capture. Sure, I'm weakening my e a lot, right? However, breaking this e5 pawn is more important because this does a big job. Okay, knight to f1. So f6, actually, there's bishop. Actually, no, there's no bishop f4 because knight takes. So we good in that regard. Now the question is, are we ready to weaken our pawn? f6, e takes, bishop takes. There's knight g5, which is very annoying. Targeting our e6 pawn. So that's what I kind of don't like about this. So maybe it isn't such a good idea to weaken it. Huh. Well, okay, so f6 takes knight g5, if e5, bishop takes 6, and queen takes b5. I lose a pawn, but I get the bishop pair, and my bishop is doing a great job here. My bishop is very huge, so I may have to sacrifice a pawn, I think. Okay. Let's try the sacrifice a pawn if he goes to that line, because I think I have to be ready. I have to do everything I can to protect this e6 pawn. And the pawn on the queen side, I don't think it matters too much. You see, the a file is currently open and is owned by white. However, the rook doesn't really do anything here, whereas our pieces are now looking at all on the center and the king side. And that's what we want to do. We want to open this up. So bishop takes. Knight g5. It's a very tempting and logical move, if I'm being honest. And the thing is, we don't want to take because that just allows the bishop to develop with tempo. We don't want to do that at all. And our bishop is doing gonna do a very great job defending the entire king side. So even though it's gonna be awkward, I think it's gonna be fine. Maybe knight g5. So knight g5, e5, bishop takes, and then queen takes. We can go h6, right? Forcing back knight to knight to h3, and now it's looking a little bit awkward here. And then we are controlling this diagonal. So we're controlling the h1 diagonal. And then maybe there's something happen. Also, the fact that we open the F file, right, also means that it allows us to do something. Potentially. Unless we want to just take this. Again, it's not ideal unless we have something going on with this F2 square. Yeah, okay. So that's not what our opponent wants. Our opponent wants this instead. Which is also not a bad idea at all. Now, if knight g4, knight takes f6, I think we are okay. We don't want to go here, I don't think. Do we want to go g6? I don't think so, because that just weakens our dark square. For kind of no reason, so... Unless we want to go b4, but again, c4 is so annoying that I kind of don't want to deal with it. We can try to go c4 into b4, but... We're running low here. Low on time. e5, e4. Is that such a good idea at all? I think I'm going to... Allowing our opponent to just play knight g4 and then knight takes f6. I think this is probably a fine idea. I don't think it's bad at all. Okay, knight g4. Now, actually, I want to play king h8. You know why? Because I want to get rid of my king on this diagonal at all costs. So let's play king h8. I just hope that we don't run into any sort of back rank checkmate. We have to keep that in mind also. Okay, we have queen to c2 here. Okay, so... We can go e4, but doesn't do anything. Again, that's the main problem. It doesn't do anything. Oh, and probably let's look at knight g5 right now. Well, I think now is time. Probably 4 here. Because now that we play e5, we're having a grip here. Knight g5, now we just take. Now we just take the knight. And if knight takes again, we take this, and now h7 is protected. So I don't know what queen c2 really does. I want to push b4 and potentially b3. Maybe I have to sacrifice a couple of pawns here. Low on time, so maybe want to focus. Focus and playing a little quicker here. Also, c4 actually allows us to play knight c5, knight d3. Also, I just realized that. You see? Opens a lot of new ideas here that we might want to play. I think the best move is knight takes f6. And then we take back, then bishop e3. Because if white allows knight c5 and knight d3, it's going to be very annoying. So, because then we can play e4, and now our knight is sitting very strong on d3, you know, aiming at f2, all that kind of good stuff. It's gonna come in soon. Okay, bishop d2. Not the move that I expected. I don't know what that move really does. But we are going to play knight c5. And actually, knight takes. We could even play g takes f6. Actually, no, we don't want to do that because okay, now we can pick with the rook because we want to keep this file open. So want to keep this file open, so we don't want to take with the pawn. But also taking with the knight is a little bit odd, simply because if I think now I'm allowing some tactics involving the e5 pawn here. Maybe. Let's see. We'll see. If my knight can land on d3, that would be the best, right? Sure, white has knight e1, right, after the rook moves, but that is just a passive move, and then we get to trade the knights, and the position might get a lot simpler. We'll get a lot simpler. Also, the thing is, the main point of knight d3 is that it allows e4. So that's the main point, because e4 we can start moving the knight out in order to protect the pawn. And yeah, this is actually very hard for white to play. Okay, our opponent is playing knight g5. So I mean, we just have to take. So we don't take what we're doing, right? And now we play knight d3, of course. Knight g5 is a little bit too late because now we have knight d3 already. And now our knight is even stronger. Oh, h6. Okay. Oh, I just realized. Okay, let's just play knight d3, and then we're going to see rook to f1. That makes a lot of sense. So now, what do we do? Now we're blocking this off as well. Do we want to play e4? I'm going to play e4. I don't think I care too much about lose this pawn, if I'm being honest. Look at this knight on d3. It's a menace, man. Now rook ae1, we just go knight b6. And we just take our time to fix the position. Okay. That's a very odd move. Knight takes e3. And now the bishop is lost. The bishop is gone. Now we can go... Yeah, now we go queen e7. And we're just going to gain this pawn. You can play g6, but we're just going to play h6. Okay. Okay, that's actually a very nice attempt in order to do something about it. Oh, that's actually quite a good move. Let's play rook c8. g6. h6. I don't think that's a better move here. Now we're going to play rook f6. Now we can play rook f6 now, which is nice. Okay, bishop there. I think, oh yeah, we're going to mash this. We just have to mash this and trade this off. Oh. Okay, this is not good. Okay, this is not good. I kind of blundered there. Lucky I have rook d8, so it's not really a blunder, but it's close enough. Very close. I was thinking of moving the knight back. But if we move the knight back, we basically kind of don't have anything here. So, okay. Let's play queen g5 here. Oh, now this knight takes e4. Oh, great. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we're going to play this. So now we're focusing everything. I don't know why I play knight e3, but sure. Now we have tactics here. Okay. Yeah, now we're completely winning. So now knight e3 is coming. This is okay. Yeah, just loses. Okay. Very nice game. Very, very nice game. So let's go over this. Oops. Oh, okay. So I did make one blunder, but overall it's fine. 33. Yeah, it's definitely not bad. So let's see. Overall, I played pretty well here. Yeah. So, oops, sorry. So let's see. So of course, the best way to play this is just to play d5. If I want to play normally, I just play knight f6, and this is just very good to play d5. If e5, we just play knight here, and now this is now it is like a weird French, right? Now a weird French. You can sort of say like it's a better French for black, right, and a worse French for white. It doesn't do anything because now c3, and this g3, the g3 move is very awkward. But I decided to go for a more fighting. It's slightly worse, but it doesn't matter too much. Like until you get the GM level, and plus it's a rapid game, right? So it's not a classical game, so you don't have to try to play for the best at all. Now d4 is good, but the thing is, like, in human perspective, no one's gonna try to play d3 and d4, like, for some reason, right? So it's here. It's very weird to try to play this. So d6. Maybe I shouldn't play d6. Maybe I should have played this first. But e5 is a little bit annoying. But I guess e5 I just play d6 and doesn't really matter. So yeah, because he will definitely try to support it. So now d6. Like he's gonna try to play like basically knight here, knight f6, c3, queen c7, d4, castles. But now here's a problem of a knight on d. Here's why this is better than having a knight on d7, because if after this, d takes, knight d5, the knight on d7 is actually not that great. So, I mean, actually here, oh yeah, up to this position, it was fine. So, but yeah, let's go back to the main game. Let's go back to the game. I don't know why I was talking too much. This is fine. Now this is just equal, because this is basically the King's Indian attack is like equal against anything. Like the mainline King's Indian attack or King's, it's just equal. Castle, d4. Okay, so I was right. Queen c7. Queen b6 is also fine. It's basically depending on your ideas, right? So queen c7. The idea is that I maybe want to put my knight in the future, and which I kind of aim for it. But yeah, I ended up didn't do that, but I guess queen b6 is fine. But queen c7 is better. But queen c7, e5, knight d5, and this is completely fine. So queen e2. Oh, here. Oh, yeah. So you see, there are a lot of things that I don't see until like very much afterwards. Here, I could have already played c4. And I was like, oh, then it's knight d4. Well, you have knight c5, and now knight d3 is what's going on here, right? Uh, but here knight d4, I probably will defend the pawn first. I'll probably go queen b6, that's for sure. And now, what does he play even? Like knight f1? I mean, anything is worse. Because queen g4, I mean, queen g4 that might worry a little bit. But say he played like knight f3, now I just play knight c5. And now knight c5, knight d3 is very deadly. And that will be much better. So, h4. b6, a4 is fine. Again, it yells c4 all the time. And I literally didn't see it until like at the very end of the game. So I got scared and I was like, oh, I was calculating this. And I keep missing c4 with the idea of knight c5 and knight d3. Yeah, okay, so f6 was a little bit too impulsive for my end. Yeah. It's kind of impulsive. Yeah, it makes the game a lot harder for me to play because I was like, well, yeah, I guess I should have played this, and then maybe knight. If he plays knight 2, then I'd fight back on this thing. I guess I didn't realize that white actually can't do anything on the queen side because I have not played any pawns whatsoever. Bishop d2. Trading queen and then equating queens, and then here my pieces are a lot better here. Yeah. But okay, f6 is not a good move. I can see that. e2. Again, e5 is a little bit awkward. Yeah. But knight g4 is actually not good. That was my calculation, but it's actually not good. Okay, so I got scared and I moved here. And yeah, here queen c2, I was like, I don't know what that move does. Because now it just allows c4. So bishop d2 was even more awkward because like, okay, I think he just didn't see knight c5 at all. So here it has to play this, and now knight takes c3, rook takes c3. Now the game kind of goes on. Because at least without a bishop, the knight, there's actually more, there will be a little bit more space for white to play on. Knight c5, knight g5, takes 6, knight d3, rook f1. This is already plus -3. Wow. e4 was my blunder, and it's not even a bad blunder. It's not. It doesn't even like ruin everything. It just make like, oh, it wants me to go. Okay, so queen d7 was good here. So here f3. I want to provoke this, and then now I go back knight here, and then knight g6. So say like king h2. Oh, and it wants knight f5, not knight g6. Knight g6 doesn't do much. Wow, so my only blunder is that it blunders -3 into -1. Great, okay. So bishop e3, which is not good. It doesn't like knight takes e3. Fine, whatever. Yeah, this is like due to me running out of time and couldn't calculate properly. I guess I could have gone here. Yeah, because of tactics. He can't take this because of this. Yeah, I can't take that. But in low time, I wasn't able to calculate that. Or I guess, and I didn't like this, but somehow it likes it as well. Oh, there's none of that. It's none of that crap. Oh, but what happens if you just go back like rook a5? Actually, okay, let's just say rook a1. Now you go for this, and then this again. Okay. Weird, but sure. Okay. Rook e5 is kind of okay, I can go rook e5 instead. Then rook e5, if g6, I can, okay, do I go a6? I can, sure. G6, a6 is fine. I mean, actually, a good idea would be that I allow takes, because if pawn takes now, this is kind of a shield for me, right? It's a shield for me to prevent any h-file checks, but also this is a window. This is kind of a window for me because then there's no checkmate on the back rank. But I kind of missed the idea. Yeah, bishop d7 was like, okay, that was like a very quick blunder for me. But he took the trade for some reason, and I was like, okay. And then rook a5, which is very odd. Oh, I blunder, quote unquote. Quote unquote. Oh my god. Yeah, that's why I was looking at. Yeah, okay, so knight f2 here works already. Rook g2, queen e1, king h2, queen h4, king g1. Oh. Oh, rook f4. Holy. Oh, this over here, the sack already works. But he didn't see it, so I didn't see it to be exact. Here I could have sacked, but well, because of knight e3, then rook df7 is just even stronger. Now it just guarantees me that I win. It's nothing. Okay, so well, that was a very nice game. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.